They're on.
All right, good evening, everybody. We're going to call the meeting of November 12th, 2015 to order. Then we take the roll call, please.
Sure, Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Here.
Council members Achara.
Here.
Long.
Here.
Shepherd.
Here.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, here. Everybody please rise for a pledge of allegiance, and then please remain standing for a moment of silent prayer thereafter.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press, coaster posted in Town Hall, filed in the office of the municipal clerk on December 30, 2014, and revised on November 2nd, 2015. There are two emergency exits on the wall. One to my right will take you out to the front of the building, and one to my left will take you out to the rear parking lot. If you have any cell phones, please turn them off. If you need to make a call, kindly go out into the hallway. You can do it then. And we have some recipients here of awards. We're going to hand out some certificates tonight to some of our veterans, because we're honoring our veterans. Yesterday was Veterans Day, so I'd like to honor all of them. And also, Monday marked the 240th anniversary of the Marine Corps. And as I mentioned yesterday at the ceremony, that same year, 1775, the Continental Congress was quite busy. They also had to put together an Army, a Navy, then the Marine Corps, then later on that year, a Coast Guard. And if we had an Air Force, the war would have been over really quick, but we didn't have that. So we're going to get to that. But before we go, I'm going to go down the line and see if the council members have any reports for us. Bill, you have anything for us tonight?
One of the advantages of sitting here is you get to go first. And I just wanted to thank the Community Celebration Committee and Councilwoman Shepka for putting together a really, and you, Mayor, for initiating the Veterans Day ceremony yesterday. It was very well attended. It was very nice. We had great participation. It was good to see veterans from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Gulf Wars, and peacetime also. We forget about our veterans in peacetime. I really thank everybody for participating. And it was a wonderful event. And thank you both.
Thank you. You have anything for us?
Yes, I want to remind everybody that on December 6th, we will, at 4:30, in front of the museum, we'll have our Christmas tree lighting. And then at 6 o'clock, we'll be down here in front of Town Hall for our menorah lighting. We'll have singing at both. We'll have hot chocolate. We'll have goodies at each. We'll have Santa Claus coming.
Only at one.
I was going to say that. We'll have Santa Claus coming at the Christmas tree lighting, and I'm trying to get the Ocean Township chorus who sang yesterday, and they sang fantastically. I'm trying to get them to come to the menorah lighting also. Last year they came to the Christmas tree lighting. I'm going to try to get them to the menorah lighting this year too. That's it. It's December 6th.
And then on the 15th, we're going to have a closing
Oh, that's right.
of the menorah. We'll have the last night of menorah lighting on the 14th, I'm sorry. The 8th night.
8 and 6, 14, yes.
Okay.
One by each car box on the 6th, and,
Yeah. Rabbi Aaron next door.
yes.
Okay. Very good, thank you. Rich, you have anything for us?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Rob?
I'm going to take Rich's spot. I got a lot of things.
Okay.
Great job also on the Veterans Day ceremony. Happy belated birthday to Donna. Birthday yesterday. Planning board has been busy, and one of the things that this group of people committed to when we were running was improving Highway 35. And just a couple of updates from the planning board. We approved Manasquan Bank going on 35, and that's going to be right before Dean's, and it's taking the place of that blue place that was there. So right before Dean's health food store, Manasquan Bank will be there. The old Ocean Fitness was approved a couple of months ago, but I haven't reported on it. Prime Fitness will be going in there. It'll be a wellness center and fitness location, so that's been vacant for 8 years, 10 years. So we'll have some new residents in there. Jersey Mike's, if you saw it, opened up last month. So that's right in the Starbucks Plaza. off 35, but we did pass something for Starbucks. Starbucks on 66 is now going to have a drive-through. We're going to be moving to the end of the building, and you'll be able to go have a drive-through there on Starbucks, at Starbucks. And you may have noticed some demolition going on 35 where the old McDonald's Billiards was. Construction going on there. We approved a self-storage facility. We think that's what's going to still go there, but we'll see. There was some demolition going on there today. So we're trying to do a lot to improve 35. And as the mayor said, we can only do it one building at a time, but we're certainly doing it one building at a time.
Great.
One last
Yeah,
thing.
sure.
Actually, two more things. I'm sorry. So the Senate, the New Jersey Senate, passed the Mike Macy law. If you know Mike Macy, he was the one that was tragically killed. He worked for the township, lived in Freehold. He was a sanitation worker that was hit by a car. The law now requires, similar to any emergency vehicles or tow trucks, if they're on the side of the road, you have to slow down and move over. That also now applies, if the Assembly passes it, it will also apply to sanitation trucks. So that bill is named after Mike Mason. And finally, if I may, Mayor, we got a lot of state championship games going on this week. Football game tomorrow night against Hamilton. Soccer tomorrow afternoon, sectional semifinals. And gymnastics, we're actually in the States right now for the finals against Montgomery. I haven't gotten a tweet to see if they won or not, but congratulations to all the teams.
Great, and just to make sure awesome thing. We'll reach out to everybody after the season and we'll have them all come in, right, Rob?
Yep.
Good. Andrew, have anything?
Just two quick things. The most recent edition of the newsletter will be mailed out probably next week. And then we are just finishing up the 2016 calendar. That'll be mailed out sometime in mid-December. So you can look for those two things.
Marty? Nothing. Okay, so we're going to come down in a moment from the dais and we're going to give out some awards to some of our veterans. I just want to say that although the War of 1812 really is when our first United States of American veterans came home, but it was really the Revolutionary War that this nation started to have veterans return. And we didn't have any, I tell you, in the 240 years, probably 93% of the time we've been at war or in war protection our country or whatever. So it's been a long time. We have a lot of veterans, so we're glad to come down and honor you. Glad you guys are here. So we're going to come down and do that now. Yes. Got it working good? So I have certificates. I don't know that everybody's here. I'm going to call ones that are here. And then if there's somebody in the audience and you don't hear your name, come on up, introduce yourself, and we'll discuss your service and what you've been doing, and we'll get something out to you as well. Sound fair? So,
Could you speak up for some of the hard of hearing?
yeah, sure.
Thank you.
How's that better?
Yeah, great.
Okay.
Can you hear us now?
All right. Bernard Tillis, is Bernard Tillis here? Okay, Bernard's not with us tonight, but I'll just read his certificate here for his honorable distinguished service. He's in the Battle of the Bulge, Bronze Star recipient, Battle of Colmar Pocket, France Legion of Honor, Distinguished Service Medal of New Jersey. We're proud to have Bernard to serve our town and our country. Wonderful. So we'll get him the certificate. All right. John McCarthy. Come on up here. We'll leave you up here. If you need friends with you, that's okay.
Get everything together here?
Yeah, it's right in here. Get right over here, sir.
Turn around,
So-
turn around.
So I have a little certificate here, and it cites everything that you've done, but you care to share with us? So what war were you in?
WW2,
That's awesome.
3rd Army,
Third Army?
General Patton.
You were under Patton, huh?
Yes,
So how was Mr. Patton? Just like they show him on TV, or was he nicer than that?
he was a great general, but he wasn't completely liked. He was a great general.
Who disliked him more, the Italians or the Americans? Not fair, right?
He was just leave it that he was a great general.
So, sir,
Diplomatic.
you're in the Battle of the Bulge,
Yes,
okay, Bronze Star recipient, awesome. 385th Regiment, 76th Infantry,
that's
right?
correct.
That's it, right? And he trained Audie Murphy, the most decorated hero of World War II, is that correct?
Yes, that's true.
Tell us about Mr. Murphy, how was his demeanor, how was he?
Well,
Nicer than Patton, I'm sure.
well, he was a young man, I must say he was an Irishman. And he trained beautifully. He took his job very seriously. And I thought I was going to go overseas with him. But the Army had different ideas, and they kept me. I was a staff sergeant as an instructor. The new batch of recruits coming in. So Buddy Murphy left me after that. I had a bunch of new recruits in the training, and that was my job, training new recruits. And then finally, they decided to send me overseas, and it was my turn to go.
Well, you did a heck of a job training, I'll say that. The credentials speak for themselves, but we're honored to give this to you. It's a pleasure meeting you, really. You're really my hero now that I met you. Wonderful. Hold that right there as your certificate.
Great.
Guys, come on in, Rich.
All right.
Good, great, thank you.
Okay, sir.
I appreciate it.
We're all going to shake your hand here.
Yeah, I've a very soft spot in my heart for Ocean Township.
Oh, thank you.
Also, my wife was welfare director here for over 20 years. Jim McCarthy, and so
No,
I'm
awesome.
honored to be here.
We're honored to have you. Ask you that.
We'll see you again next year.
God willing, the creek don't
Thank
run.
you.
Thank you, okay.
What we'll do is at the end, you guys sit down now, we'll probably call everybody up for a group shot though. I'm just giving you some warning, so don't leave yet. Is Mr. Samuel J. here?
Okay.
Good job, Dave.
Samuel J. All right, Samuel was Army Signal Corps and he did his basic training in Seagirt, New Jersey, and we're proud to have him serve Ocean Township and the United States. Samuel J., thank you for your service. Ralph Jeffers, Mr. Ralph Jeffers, come on up. Great. All right, Mr. Jeffers.
Sure.
Served 30 years active duty in the Navy Reserves and Total Reserve. No?
Not the Naval Reserve, the regular Navy.
The fleet, the fleet.
Oh, okay, Benny got bad information, so tell us about your service, sir.
I enlisted in the Navy back in 1938, right from high school. I went to boot camp at Newport, Rhode Island. I was assigned I stayed behind to take a company to boot camp, another company to boot camp. And I was assigned to the USS Curtis in 1940. I served aboard the Curtis up until 1943. And I was at Pearl Harbor aboard the USS Curtis. The Curtis suffered severe damage. They put me ashore on Ford Island, and I was assigned to a patrol squadron flying out of Ford Island. My ship participated in 7 major battles beginning at Guadalcanal. I left the ship in 1943. I was assigned to a patrol squadron, and I stayed in patrol squadron, 3 patrol squadrons during my lifetime. I served in the embassy in Valparaiso, Chile. I was a naval recruiter, and I did about everything.
Did a heck of a job, that's awesome. Service record, absolutely. So, were you there December 7th, 1941? On the ship, near the
On the
ship?
Curtis. On the Curtis. My ship got hit quite severely. The only thing that saved my life was the huge crane in the stern of the ship that we lifted seaplanes out of the water with. And my machine gun station was behind the crane. And when our hangars blew out, it wrapped around the flagpole and whatnot, around the crane, but didn't touch us.
Wow.
Thank the good Lord.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. So the scene there had to be chaotic, I'm sure, right? I mean, we all just see movies. I mean, the only one old enough here is Rich and Marty to remember that. Why don't you, can you walk us through a little bit of that? That's fascinating.
Well, Pearl Harbor, when I arrived in Pearl Harbor back in 1941, in August, I served in the Atlantic Fleet My ship got through the Panama Canal around August of 1941, and I enjoyed the beach of Waikiki Beach before that darn war came along. And from then on, we couldn't go to the beach.
That was it. Back to work, right?
That's where I had to work. I had to fly. And I got my combat air crew wings, flying the patrol planes out of Pearl, and participated in the Battle of Guadalcanal, and on and on and on.
Well, that's an unbelievable career, really. We thank you for your service, sir, and we're just honored to have you here, and we're
Thank
glad
you
that you
so
lived here in
much.
Ocean Township.
The clerk is going to update that's correct. Okay?
Tom. Hey, Tom. You usually get all this info filled out there. Great, thank you. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you. We'll get you that one.
We're gonna get you an updated certificate.
Thank you.
Great, wonderful. Okay. These are great stories, I guess. I mean, to me, it fires my imagination as a young man. I mean, listening to World War II, Korean War vets are just outstanding.
You should have invited Clint Eastwood out in the movie out.
Maybe we could have. These guys had some great careers. Sam Warm, Mr. Warm here. So Mr. Warm, for his honorable service, again, Battle of the Bulge, Invasion of Normandy, European theater operations, and 4th Armored Division under General Patton, another one. So we thank Mr. Warm for his service, and we're honored to have had him here living in Ocean Township. Okay. Bill Stupinski? Is Bill Stupinski here? Stupinski? No? Okay. Okay, so, we're gonna do Vietnam at the next meeting.
Yeah,
so-
he'll be here
Okay.
December 3rd.
Awesome, thank you. Okay. Mr. Ronan, Ray Ronan.
Getting shot slows you down.
That's all right. We're here till the Jets kick off, don't worry about it. Yeah, just come right up here, Mr. Ronan, if you don't mind. Now, first, Mr. Ronan, I gotta tell you, for full disclosure here, I went to high school with your son.
Yeah.
We graduated together.
All right.
Yeah, good boy you raised.
Sorry about him, though.
Oh, we can tell you stories, but they're so old now they don't count. Right? So, Mr. Ronan, you had a heck of a career also. You care to tell us about where you served and when, et cetera?
Well, first, I don't tell war stories, but I served 1st Marine Division in Korea, 7th Regiment, 3rd Battalion, you know, so.
Okay. So it says here, squad leader in the 1st Marine Division in Korea.
Right.
Recipient of the Distinguished Service Medal and with cluster.
Right.
Well, that's something, you can share that. Yeah. That's good stuff. What'd you do to deserve that?
Not a hell of a lot.
I'm not a recipient too, I love that. All right, I'm gonna go on and embarrass you more. New Jersey State Korean Service Medal.
Right.
So I know my dad got one of those too, that's for serving.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And awarded a total, ready? 7 medals and 9 ribbons by the Marine Corps.
I'll tell you, I don't tell war stories, but there is one about veterans that's very unusual. My dad in the parish we came from in Jersey City was the usher at the 9 o'clock mass. And I don't think they could have had mass if he didn't show up. I mean, and I came back from Korea, I was on crutches. I remember my wife, the blonde, sitting back there. And my mom, and I'm sitting in the pew and he comes up to me and said, we're short an usher, I want you to take up the collection today. So I'm on crutches like this, right? I said, yes, sir. Yeah. Well, when the ushers came up to take up the collection, the priest saying mass was the father of Gorman, who was an army chaplain in Europe. He retired a major, And he stopped everybody and he said, I just want you to notice something. He'll never see something like this again. And he said, taking up the collection on the far left is Mr. Hannity, Rough Riders in the 19... Yeah, way back.
Eddie.
With Teddy, right. And the next, excuse me, next that over, McGuire, U.S. Navy in the Pacific, World War II. Next to him, my dad, he was in the Navy, North Atlantic Fleet, World War I. And then he said, on the far aisle, with me, with crutches. So we had the Spanish-American War.
You had them all covered.
Yeah.
And all those wars covered for about 50 years there. That was unbelievable.
Right.
That was an all-star lineup, too.
But the odd thing is, looking back, I thought Hannity was an old man. You know, he was 1896 and this was 1953.
Yeah, right.
That's a
Just a
great,
kid.
that's a great story.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you for your service. You had some unbelievable service record here. And, you know, Semper Fi with the Marine Corps, that's unbelievable. Thank you for that.
Oh, okay.
Great, thank you.
One more. Thank you, gents.
Great. Okay.
Thank you.
Probably back up in a minute, when you stand to the side, you have to make that trip again.
Oh, you sit over there.
Yeah, sure. We do that.
Standing is not
We're
too
gonna have
bad.
the whole thing somewhere. Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Melvin Melwoda. All right, Melvin, come on up. So Melvin gets brownie points because he comes in with an Asbury Park yearbook, 1951, and shows me a picture of my dad in here, so. Right away. The winner. So Melvin, tell us about your service record.
Well, first of all, I'm honored to be I'm honored to be in the presence of all these actual war heroes. I was a commander for a number of years, and some of them served under me, but I'm privileged to be here, and I thank you very much for your service overseas. It was really great. I was in the Korean War. I was scheduled to go to Korea. An armistice was declared. They said, well, look, you have a critical MOS, which was a radar instructor. They said, we need you stateside. So my orders were canceled to stay stateside. So I lucked out. Now, but the funniest part is this. This is my war story. I had to keep my uniform in the closet because I had what was a critical MOS, which means I was subject to be recalled within 72 hours. I served 2 years active, 6 years in reserves. So I kept the uniform in the closet. My 4 grandkids always asked me, Papa, how many North Koreans did you kill? And I said, I never killed anybody. I was only involved with radar systems. But that's a funny story. So that's my war story.
Good one. What the heck? That wasn't bad. So great. So you got a good conduct medal. So that was good.
Yes.
National Defense Service Medal.
Yes.
You got some decorations here. Served as radar instructor during the active duty and served 6 years, as you said, in the reserves as well, 55 through 61.
Yes.
So we thank you for your service, man. That was humble. If there's one more, we got stay up here.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Before I let you go, Marvin, stay to the side. Is there anybody we missed that served that we didn't announce yet today? Okay, with that, I would like all the veterans to come back up with their families and do a group shot, if you don't mind. Come on up. Yeah, bring them on.
Mr. Mayor, may I make one comment?
Yes,
I'd like to thank Dawn over the years, because when I was commander years ago, she did a wonderful job every time we had a service out here, Veterans Day service or Memorial Day service. Thank you so much, Tommy. You're really terrific.
I have to thank her too, because she does the agenda for me, so I know what order to go in. So I make sure I don't play taps before we raise the flag.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you.
Right, yeah. Oh, you get, we're gonna get behind you guys. Can you get us, get them all in?
Yeah, taking a
Get these guys, man.
Yeah, I
I got everybody.
No, he's gonna take off. Edie, where are you?
Selfie. We have some of the short people up front. We can't see some of the, I can't see that.
We're good.
There. No, come on, get it.
Wow, somebody can still take a picture.
Good.
I'm gonna go over here.
Can we get behind somebody?
Get down here.
Yeah.
Get down next to Dave.
Right now, we're not getting everybody. That's good. That's excellent. Good. Fantastic.
To be a celebrity.
Okay. Excellent.
One more for the word on the shore. One more.
Hold on.
My kid brother has a better camera, so I have to. 1, 2, cheese. Thank you, you guys are great.
Great, thank you all again. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
Great, thank you. How are you?
How's your mom? Your son too. Thank you.
Yes. She's PTA right now. Thank you for your service. We appreciate it.
We're not having chocolate gummies, but we're having a dessert. You gotta run in and have some. I should get this tall. I don't know. We're so lucky.
Okay, we're gonna take a short recess, give you folks a chance to, all watch. Okay, we're back in session. The purpose of this public portion is to solely ask questions to understand resolutions and vouchers that appear on this agenda, and is not an occasion for a public hearing on an ordinance. All questions not related to an item on this agenda should be asked during the public comments portion at the conclusion of the meeting. Anybody have anything they'd like to come up to the microphone, please state your name and address for the record. And come on up, I think we have the gentleman behind you first. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. I can wait.
Paul Merowitz, 117 Cedar Village Boulevard. Ordinance 2251,
This is just for vouchers resolutions. We'll do the ordinance.
I stand corrected.
No problem, Paul. Thank you.
Come back later.
We're gonna do that momentarily. Next.
Next.
Stay close though.
Don Geiger, 1108 Grassmere. I'll start with resolutions, since that's the easier part. On the 196A, Route 1606, Highway 35, is that building that is now next to what used to be the old Jason's that they're talking about there?
196A, that's the Raymore Flanagan.
No, Raymore Flanagan's release.
Oh, okay. Does anyone know anything about that? So I understood something's gonna go there, but that may be,
Next to the furniture store?
yeah,
Yeah, there's an application now, but it hasn't been voted on or anything. So-
okay. And the next one is 15198. Is that Eagle Avenue the one that runs parallel to 35?
Yes.
Okay, and, because I saw the lot for sale sign there. Something's gonna go in there?
Well, that's been for sale since I was a baby.
Okay.
Just as like.
This is an assignment of an existing developer's agreement for a project related to CV Orthopedics back there.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Parking lot
I was gonna
expansion.
say, I was gonna comment on that. I'll bring that up at the end of the meeting then. Now, on to bigger and better things. The vouchers.
Yes.
For American Wear Incorporated, first page. October uniform rentals. Who do we rent the uniforms for? Because I know we don't rent them for the police department.
For the sanitation and the public works.
Okay, okay. So they don't get a uniform allowance like the police department?
They do not get a uniform allowance.
Okay, all right, just trying to figure it out. Same page, Board of Fire Commissioners, that's the police department, 50% of Opticon service, and then service slash repairs. What exactly is Opticom and?
That's so they can control the lights at an intersection if they have to get through an emergency.
Okay,
So we split that cost with
the fire department, we pay half, they pay, okay. And I've absolutely nothing against the clean community. The $15,356.80, that's for implements, garbage bags, et cetera.
That's from a grant.
Okay,
It
so,
was to purchase a vehicle to do litter control in play at parks. We had used the pickup truck before, but we decided we didn't want to use that anymore. So it's more of a gator type vehicle.
right, okay. And, help me understand what, and maybe you talked about Solomon Dweck, the Dweck, DWEC consent order. There's
Yeah,
about,
that should be Dweck. Basically, those are when there was a bankruptcy filed by
Right.
Dr. Solomon Dweck. At the time that was filed, there was a whole bunch of escrows that were being held in his name, and they then become arguably assets of the bankruptcy court. We had disputes with the bankruptcy court as to how much they should be getting back, and these are resolutions of those disputes where we've given some of the money to the bankruptcy court that were being held for Solomon, on Solomon Dweck.
okay, thank you for that. And page 2, Dep Corps, again for Great Police Department, a deck chair, is that one chair?
It's a desk chair, yes, one chair.
That's a pretty fancy chair.
You should see what they do with the Kelly.
Okay, is that anything like the hammer that, but never mind, I won't even go there. And then, hopefully that was more than one, well, it says tires, but that's pretty expensive tires, those maybe they're really big. An Edwards Tire Company, and it says IT 14 cat loader tires for 12,000 plus.
Caterpillar loader.
Okay, 2 tires, 1 tire, those are big tires. Okay, and then, almost right underneath that, fast signs, the neighborhood watch signs, how many do we get? You know,
I have to check on that for you, Don.
okay, no problem. And, 4 directions, traffic light check, was that more than one, just one light, you know?
I'll have to double check on that as well.
Okay. And then, we paid Gruff Tractor for wear item on Tink Claw Bucket.
That's the claw they use to pick up the leaves.
Oh, that
Yes.
pincher thing. I think the better name is pincher, but okay. And then we must have bought another one? Because down here, Harder Equipment Incorporated, Tink's Claw Loader number 45.
Yes.
Did we buy one?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And, page 3, Jersey Shore Junior Wrestling League, the dues. Is that for the school, or who's that for?
That's for our recreation program.
Okay. And then, Campton Flag and Flagpole Company, flag replacement on the police department, was that just one flag?
No, that was several. I'll get the quantity for you.
Okay. Have we thought about from time to time, we need to replace a flag? Writing, you know, I know you can request a flag from your congressman or your senator.
We've gotten a couple of them, and they've been a little small to put out front here.
Okay,
And, because remember, we got one a couple years ago that we were gonna put up for Memorial Day, and it was too small to put out there. I forget where we got it and from whom we got it, but it was just too small, and
Yeah.
those were the ones that, they're smaller than the ones that we use, basically.
okay. So you couldn't get the full size that for Paul.
Yeah, it's about half the size of what's out there.
No, that won't work. And then, almost to the bottom, Monmouth University, horse registration, not that it's a lot of money. L. Mater, I guess,
That's one of the counselors at Human Services.
okay, and do you know what the course is, or?
It wasn't actually a course, it was a training.
Okay.
They have to get those continuing education credits annually.
Okay. And then, it should be pretty self-explanatory, just curious how many went to Monarch Educational Center, EMT/police elective course, 480. Was it one? Four. Oh, that's not bad. Of course, I'm sure this, it's just, I know you've got space on it. Sometimes I look at some, what is this? Neopost Northeast, DS-75 maintenance agreement.
That's the postage machine, right, Vin?
Okay, that should get maintenance. And, not that, again, it's a lot of money, for the police department. Safe Schools Symposium, was that for one or more persons, or?
Just one person.
One person, okay. And then, right underneath that, there's others training for $1,300. A couple people, or?
That was actually, I think that was 4 people that went for the, we had to do the reaccreditation this year. For
Okay.
the police department, so we had to send people so we can get that process
Okay.
complete.
And physical therapy, sports rehab, housing job evaluation, was that like a regular physical?
It was a fitness for duty examination for an employee.
Okay, that wasn't cheap.
No.
Could have sent them down to boot camp, maybe, you know, just kind of, and QSIN Technologies, I understand what it says, that's the housing, 2 nights, 1 person?
Yes.
Okay, that's not bad, really. Now, I see you're following my suggestion, and I'm really glad to hear that. On the food for prisoners, giving them peanut butter and jelly, this is only $1.50. And then, I'm sorry, I think this was, if I remember correctly, it was at the Veterans Day thing, Lieutenant Sorrentino. Anyway, travel lodging, reimburse. Do you know if and what he went to? And how long?
He went, I have to plug it.
Okay.
I know we authorized it because it was
Well,
very rarely
yeah.
out. No, I'm saying it was out of state travel, so
Okay.
it doesn't happen very often.
Okay. Now, on the next page, which I guess is for, clean sweep items, that was for our clean sweep program, Donna, I guess?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And that's just, trash bags and maybe shirts, gloves. We could tell them, bring your own, instead of being your own, BYOB, BYOTB, trash bag. Just thought. And same page, Superior Office Systems, what is a DV unit?
Superior Office.
For 477.
Well, it's something to do with one of the police department cars. I'll have to verify what the DV is.
Okay. And then, we paid the treasurer of our wonderful state annual elevator inspection fee. Was that for all of the elevators in the municipalities? Doesn't count any elevators in schools or
No schools.
anything? Okay, just wanted to clarify that. And, we also paid the Township Board of Ed for a damaged chair.
That was from the summer rec program that we ran at the Wayside School.
Okay, and so somehow a chair got damaged and we had to replace it, okay. And, I know what it is, from WB Mason. Police Department, CAP, OIC offices, investigative services, I think it is. Office, dry erase
Officer in
board.
charge.
Huh? Officer in charge, okay.
Dry erase board.
Dry erase. Okay, things aren't getting any cheaper. And, without getting into extensive detail, what was the last thing on that thing, 389.36, the auto deduct, something was deducted automatically and this person was
No,
reimbursed
it's
for it?
there was an accident with one of our vehicles.
Okay,
So we
covered their deductible.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. And would you believe that's all, folks. Thank you for now. Okay, thank you. Anybody else on resolutions or vouchers, please come on up.
I didn't get, Paul Merowitz, 117 Cedar Village. I didn't get a chance to look at the voucher list until we just had the time. One thing popped out at me. We paid a $2,000 appraisal fee for CBU acquisitions with the CBU property, where the mall is. I'm assuming that was for a appeal of a property tax assessment?
Andrew,
I'm sorry, Paul, can you repeat that?
for the,
This, the $2,000 fee for an appraisal of CBU acquisitions. I'm assuming that was for a tax appeal on the property at CBU Mall?
That was on the voucher list?
Yes.
What was the vendor?
CB was the vendor, right?
Sockler Realty Service. Sockler, yes.
I was looking over Marlon's shoulder, so forgive me.
007, son.
Yes, I see it. It would have, I don't know if it was a full-blown appraisal, or if it was just sometimes they do a summary appraisal before they do a full-blown appraisal. But Sockler is that's one of the appraisal companies we used for tax appeals, yes.
Okay, do we know, Mr., I can't pronounce your last name, Vinny.
I would, I'm not involved with that.
Well, they filed, you want to know, they filed an appeal.
I wanted to know if they filed an
They
appeal.
did file an appeal.
I would not know that.
And that's why we had that appraisal done, just to make sure we're all on the right page with what their, thought their appeal would be and where we were at. And so there was ultimately a compromise, I believe.
So we had a stipulation agreement on the property tax assessment.
I'd want to look at the.
Yeah, I don't know.
Again, we get
We'll have to look
hundreds of
at what
tax
was-
appeals, whether
I know
that's
that's what you
part of it or
filed.
not, I don't know.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So tonight we have resolution, I'm sorry, minutes, October 15th workshop and October 15th public. Someone please offer. Oh, we have that with the resolutions 15-195 through 15-201. Someone please offer.
Offer?
Second?
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, and for vouchers, individual action, we have vouchers in the amount of $11,207,061.55. Someone please offer.
Offer?
Second?
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, and tonight we have resolutions 15-202, authorize the purchase of an unmarked vehicle for the Criminal Investigation Bureau from Sansone Junior's Auto Mall, Neptune, New Jersey, at a cost not to exceed $11,060. Someone please offer.
Offer.
Second?
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, 15-203, award a contract to Carl Fraley and Son for the removal of composted leaves at Joe Play Park for a 2-year period from July 1st, 2015 through June 30, 2017. Someone please offer.
Offer.
Second?
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, 15-204, authorize the transfer of funds in accordance with NJSA 40A5-58 and NJSA 40A4-45-4A. Someone please offer.
Offer?
Second?
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, and 15-205, authorize the tax collector to refund taxes to the owner of block 150.07, lot 18, who has been declared 100% totally disabled veteran. Someone please offer.
Offer.
Second?
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, and tonight for adoption, we have ordinance number 2251. Ben, would you read the title, please?
Sure. An ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 21, the Comprehensive Land Development Ordinance for the Township of Ocean.
Someone please open the public hearing on ordinance number 2251.
Open the public hearing on 2251.
Second?
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. Anybody wishing to be heard on ordinance 2251, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Paul Merowitz, 117 Cedar Village Boulevard. I'm curious about the process as to how we create a new zoning category. Was there something that prompted the creation of this new modification to the ordinances?
Litigation,
Yeah, this was the first of several remedy lawsuits, and this particular developer was defined by us as the catalyst for change and was the one who was certainly going to be entitled to relief in the litigation. And ultimately, I think initially they wanted 160, I can't remember the number they wanted, but we ended up with an approval for 72 units on their property, which is about 12 units per acre. And but that's what gave rise, as part of any settlement, there's also an agreement to rezone, and that's what is part of that settlement.
And how does this ordinance get rezoned into the master plan?
Well, before we pass this ordinance, we create the ordinance, it goes to the planning board, they review it, and it comes back to us, and then, but in this case, it's part of a litigation, and then it's gonna be part of a hearing before a judge.
Okay. Can I ask where this new zone is going to be?
This property is, do you know where it used to be called West Park Water Recyclers? Off of West Park Avenue, behind the residential development?
Truthfully, no.
Good.
Well, that's where it
it's
is.
gonna be. That's a good thing, you don't know that.
If you're driving up
East,
West.
east or west of 35?
It is west of 35,
After a quick check.
right, after Quick Check, you.
Thank you.
There's a little retention basin.
Thank you.
Great, you're welcome. Someone please, anybody else wish to be heard on ordinance number 2251? Please, someone please offer to close the hearing on ordinance 2251.
Offer to close?
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, action please on ordinance number 2251.
Move for the adoption of ordinance number 2251.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, and for tonight, we have for introduction, ordinance number 2250. Ben, would you read the title, please?
A bond ordinance providing for various improvements appropriating $225,000 and authorizing the issuance of $213,750 bonds or notes to finance a portion of the cost and directing the special assessment of these costs.
Someone please introduce ordinance 2250.
Move to introduce ordinance number 2250.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, and that ordinance will have its public hearing on the 12/3 meeting. Also, we have ordinance number 2252 for introduction. Ben, would you read the title, please?
Sure. An ordinance repealing Chapter 5, Section 5-13, secondhand dealers in its entirety and replacing it with dealers in precious metals and other secondhand goods.
Great, so please make a motion to introduce ordinance number 2252.
Motion to introduce ordinance number 2252.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garofalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, and that ordinance also will have its public hearing on 12/3. Anybody have any comments? Now's the time to come on up to the microphone. Please state your name and address for the record. One at a time.
I had an opportunity, Paul Merowitz, 117 Cedar Hills Boulevard. I had the opportunity this morning to take a quick look at the agenda online. And I hadn't done this before. And I don't know when the change occurred, but I'd like to compliment the administration and the Township Council for the way the agenda is currently posted on the Township website. Not only is the agenda there, but if you want to see the underlying ordinance or resolution supporting it, all you need to do is click on the appropriate URL address. This, I think, is a great thing to do, if that's the right word, but it clearly indicates that the administration and the council truly are in favor of transparency and communicating to the residents of this township what's going on with their government, if they so choose to avail themselves of that opportunity, which I believe most of them should do, but unfortunately do not.
Thank you.
That's the first comment.
And you know, we're open for suggestions, as you know, because you've come in and made some, and we've adhered to them.
One of the suggestions that was indeed made to the mayor was that we currently have a email notification list that sends out township notices, etc. What I suggested to the mayor was that we add to that distribution list, subject to the subscriber's initiation, emailing of the agendas for the planning board, the zoning board, and township council, so that they would receive it, and they can't say, I didn't know that we were discussing X, Y, and Z, why didn't you tell us? Again, once we implement this, it's going to be great, again, for transparency and communications. Second comment I wanted to make. In reviewing the township ordinances, our land development, I noticed that we did not have any restrictions where a sexually oriented business can be located within the township. My reading of the land development ordinances indicates that if someone wanted to put a sexually oriented business within Ocean Township, the only thing that would apply would be the state regulations relating to that business.
Right.
It would seem appropriate that we would specifically evaluate our master plan to determine what would be the most appropriate locations for a sexually oriented business, and that we amend our township ordinance for that specifically.
I'll say, not to cut you off though, but we did look at that, discuss it today in workshop, of course, and we've been discussing it. Right now, the state has the regulations that it can't be within 1,000 feet of any residential area. So we looked up and down the highway, and pretty much almost any business on the highway is within 1,000 feet of a residential area. So we could take that, adopt it, use that, or we have discussed also maybe even creating a zone where it can also go into. So we're still looking at that.
Yeah, just the idea of 1,000 feet is not only residential areas. It can't be within 1,000 feet of a lot of different things, including churches, synagogues. It can't be within 1,000 feet of parks.
Bus
stops, school bus stops.
Schools.
And there's a lot of things that cannot be within 1,000
Dorm.
feet of. And so we're looking into that. We're going to try to see what areas it could be placed in and whether or not there should be some.
Yeah, I'm aware of what the state regulation prevents, but the fact that we don't specifically identify that anywhere in our master plan or in the ordinances could potentially in the future allow a sexually oriented business to locate within the township. And at that point, we will be challenged by our existing ordinances. In order to get ahead of that potential challenge, it might be beneficial for the township to adopt the ordinance prior to the legal challenge. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Like I said, we are looking into that, so maybe coming as well nearby. Anybody else? Come on up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Don Geiger, and I still live at 1108 Gressmere. I noticed, and I'm just a little confused on this, so help me understand. We had items for discussion on the agenda. And I'm asking for long, extensive, can you briefly talk about the assessment demonstration project? I mean, really, Cliff Notes, because I know all the uproar about it in a number of towns.
Well, basically, I mean, we don't have a contract with the RDS. That's one of the ones. We had a contract for a reevaluation with Realty Appraisal. Our last evaluation was 2005. Being that it's 2015, we would have done it anyway. We're due for one. We did start, they didn't finish it. So none of that data was entered yet. So basically, that's what we're just letting the rest of the council members know where we're at with that. And that we're a little unique than the other towns that you read about in the newspaper that are going through all those challenges that they have right now with the companies that they're using.
Okay, so on this portion, the things you discussed in the previously in the workshop, am I understanding correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. Good. The other thing, back to that lot that's been for sale since you were in kindergarten.
Yes, sir.
It seems actually insane to put anything there.
Well, it's got setback challenges.
Well, among other things. Has the township given any thought how much that person would want, and how it's gonna throw money away? But any thought to buying up that property?
Well, he's got a price on it now that his I don't want to sell it price was what we call that.
Oh, okay.
So, it's still green, he has a I don't want to sell it price on it. We're comfortable with that right now.
Okay. Very unrealistic, but I'll take it. Fair, because I'm totally not to put anything there.
Yeah.
And we'll probably sit back down. I wish all here a very blessed and happy Thanksgiving. And also a shout out to my two friends at Public Works, Nancy and Mary, who are always terrific and take my many pothole reports and stuff left at the curb well before the appointed day and time, and they've been always terrific. So shout out to them.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, you can look at the camera and say, because they watch first thing in the morning when they come in.
Okay, hey, Nancy,
So,
Mary,
thank you for that.
give me a shout out. You do a great job.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I just thought, one last thing.
Okay.
Can I get a copy of this? Because I want to submit it to Guinness World Book of Records. Because actually Andrew was able to answer more than two questions. I threw out. He didn't have the sweeties this morning.
We're gonna archive all the meetings, so you'll be able to access them.
Okay, I'll send it off to Guinness right away.
Great, thank you, sir. Secretary. Great, come on up, please, Susan.
Susan Boria, 39 Redwood Drive. I wanted to thank the Township and the Department of Public Works for being very flexible. Our community is in the process of doing paving, and I happen to live on a street that was scheduled to have major paving done on the day of our pickup, and you guys flexed and got it all picked up before they started at 7 a.m., so thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Anybody else?
Primarily with positive.
Come on up.
Barbara Hudson, Mahar's Drive. When we're talking about where to put the sexual shops, we also think also about the pot that's probably coming.
Yes, we talked about that also.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we have a series of ordinances that we're trying to put out in the next several months, and then that was one of the topics that we discussed was dispensaries.
And the other thing is the newsletter. How long have you been? 6 months?
Yes,
3
twice
months?
a year.
Once a year?
Twice a year.
Oh, twice a year, okay. I'll let you know about it next time.
We were gonna do it once every 4 years, but we decided we'd just do it twice a year instead. I knew you'd like that. Anybody else? Mr. Hudson, come on up.
Be there in a minute.
We're still here till 8:20. That's over.
Hi, Fenn Hudson, Horace Drive. Just a couple of questions on Resolution 15-203, contract for Carl Franey to remove composted leaves. Are we still using some of those in the park?
We do. We have a mulch pile available for the residents.
Okay, and the Board of Education can also use that?
Yes.
Okay, and they're paying us $1.67, I guess, per cubic yard for the stuff that they pick up?
Yes.
Okay. When are you going to introduce the budget?
When are we going to introduce the budget?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to deliver a draft budget to the mayor and council by January 15th, which we're required to do. And then sometime in March or April, we'll introduce the budget.
Okay, so then you would be adopted a month or two later?
Yes.
Okay. Just like to get a general update on a couple of items. One is the status of the indoor tennis courts, and then the status of COA matters and Stop and Shop.
indoor tennis courts are still revising their plans and application to bring it to the planning board, so no date set yet on that, and I'll keep you posted on that. We'll probably put that on the website as well, so you know.
Okay, so you don't think anything will happen there before the end of the year?
No groundbreaking, no, not at all.
No, I mean, before the plan.
I don't think they'll be on the agenda before the end of the year, it doesn't look like.
And a little report on the coal matters and Stop and Shop.
Okay, Stop and Shop, I just signed a consent order dismissing their complaint without prejudice, which would permit them, because we
Again?
really, yes, permitting them to refile, I think, by March of 2016 if we have not reached some resolution. And then the litigation on COA, as that ordinance, the zoning ordinance is for one of the properties that was the subject of COA. We will be having what's called a fairness hearing in Freehold to determine whether or not that settlement that we've reached with that developer will go through. Part of that process was the rezoning of the property. So that's what's happening on one aspect. In terms of the overall COA, there's a litigation which we're involved with a whole bunch of towns, and where our numbers are going to be determined for, I guess, the third round. And that is, we've had an expert that we had initially, when I say we, all of the municipalities together had one expert, because there aren't too many people who were available to do this. That expert had a stroke in August, and the court was reluctant to give any additional time, which was, we thought, unfair. At the last hearing, they've given some additional time, and I'm not sure what the next process will be, but there's, I think, 25, 30, 40 municipalities that are involved in that litigation.
Okay, so that won't be resolved for a while?
Well, we had to submit what our plan was in October, showing a revised plan in terms of developing COA units. Every municipality had to do that. There are dates set all over for different things. I believe now the trial of the matter, if it ever goes to trial, will be scheduled in theory for March, April of 2016.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Benton. Anybody else? Coming up to the microphone? No? Before we adjourn, I just want to welcome John Fuller, newest member of the zoning board.
Thank you.
He's installed tonight. Thank you. John lives up in Wayside, and welcome aboard, John. You're in for some fun now. You get to hear some applications and see what the other side's like, right?
Yes.
But thank you for serving.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Anybody want to make a motion for adjournment, please?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Deputy Mayor Garafalo.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, thank you for coming, and remember, watch us on Channel 22 via Files and Channel 77 for Cablevision. We air twice a day, 10 and 7 o'clock, except for Tuesdays. Meeting adjourned.